Okay, and now to our currency of the week, pound dollar. Here is Theresa May, not when she announced the elections yesterday, just a funny picture I found. Anyway, quite a move in pound dollar, and I think we'll have lots more volatility. So, UK elections are held on June 8th. It'll be confirmed today. Labour Party announced that they will support elections, even though they're expected to be diminished by these elections. Theresa May, leader of the Conservative Party, the Tories, she's set for a landslide victory. Polls put her at an advantage, a huge advantage. So here we are in terms of leader popularity. The Labour opposition party is in big trouble. Jeremy Corbyn, the leader, popular among hard leftists, but not among the general public, receives only 14% support. According to YouGov poll, and Theresa May, Prime Minister, receives 50%. Even those that oppose her policies, I think, respect her. And this is one of the BBC poll of the polls. It shows an 18% lead of the Conservatives against Labour, 43 to 25, with the UKIP and Liberal Democrats trailing behind. The system in the UK, the first past the post system, means that this will not be the composition of Parliament. The bigger parties will have a bigger proportion of the seats, and the smaller parties will be mostly out. But let's see, it'll be interesting in any case. So why does the pound like it? Why did the pound rally? Some hope that this will give May a mandate for a soft exit. It'll surely give Theresa May a mandate. Remember, she was never elected. So Theresa May, well, long-standing politician, she's in Parliament since since 1997. She became Home Minister under David Cameron, held 6 years in that position. Then when Cameron quit, she didn't really have a real contest. Her opponents left the field, and she was coronated, as they say. Okay, and she has this relatively small majority. She is leading the Brexit process that she was against, or at least quietly against. She was in the Remain camp. So this will give her a bigger mandate. It'll also give her a mandate, markets hope at least, for a softer Brexit. That means that not up to now she had to prove that she was tough on Europe, triggering Article 50, and well, following the lead of the Brexiteers. Now she can, if she wins her own election, then she has a mandate to do perhaps things a bit differently, not go for a hard Brexit like she did so far, but perhaps for a softer one. A second reason that I think supports the pound is that she'll get rid of, more important than external opposition is internal opposition. Her companions, the Brexiteers, here is Boris Johnson in the picture, a foolish foreign minister. Maybe she'll have the opportunity to say goodbye to him and to some of her other opponents. Okay, perhaps a weaker UKIP, the United Kingdom Independence Party, which basically won. Now they have no reason for their existence. They managed to push for Brexit and they won. So, but they will be weaker in the election outcome. Defeated Labour. Now this is not related to Brexit, because Labour never had, well, they were pro-Remain, but not that clear. But a more defeated Labour means a more market-friendly parliament, regardless of Brexit. And the timing is basically perfect, okay? Because negotiations were not expected to begin anyway until June. The elections are held closely after France. Second one in France, May 7th. Elections in the UK, June 8th. So it doesn't waste negotiation time. So it's not that this snap election delays anything related to Brexit. So the pound certainly liked it. What's next for the pound? Okay, we had this rush yesterday. We're only one day afterwards, but let's look forward. We had this comment here about retracing. Sure, technically speaking, flow speaking, we'll have a retracement. But what's next for the pound? Opinion polls will be closely watched, of course, because it's an election cycle, but only in case the Conservatives significantly weaken. Now, if the Conservatives weaken, but the support goes to the Liberal Democrats, which were clear Remain supporters, it's not that bad for markets. Okay, so I think it's a bit less about the opinion polls, more about the Brexit negotiations. We have next week an announcement from the European Union about their policies towards the negotiations, and then we'll have things about Britain. May's statements in the election campaign about Brexit towards the negotiations, I think, were more important than polls. What about the other factors moving the pound? The UK economy is weaker. We learned that from retail sales numbers, and next week we have GDP. But the weaker pound, I believe, will help against inflation. Will make things easier, less pressure on Carney to raise rates, more money in pockets of Brits to buy things that are not food and not energy. So I think this will be sort of a relief for the economy. Some countries want a weaker currency. Maybe also the UK wants a weaker currency, but not this week, not what we've seen in recent months that, well, undermined the economy because of expensive imports. And we're talking about pound dollar. Let's talk a bit about the US dollar. Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary here, pictured with Trump, contradicted Trump on the dollar. It's unclear what this administration really wants. The US economy looks a bit weak. The job market looks perfect, but Q1 was probably very slow in terms of growth. The Fed is currently set to raise rates in June, but more doubts accumulate because of the economy, because of no fiscal stimulus from Trump, okay? And the dollar remains under pressure as Trump concludes his first 100 days in office. So what's next for the pound? I say the trend is up. We're back to the previous range we've seen last summer. Not a one-way street. Undoubtedly, we'll see some retracements, could be violent as well. Look for economic data to cool things down. Maybe next week's GDP and then other figures coming out in May. And then hopes for a softer Brexit certainly support the pound at least towards the elections. Okay, so that's our segment about pound dollar. Certainly a twist in the tail for the pound. Hopes for a soft Brexit. We talked about how Brexit is bad and weighing on the pound till a few weeks ago. Now things look much more optimistic. Is this optimism justified? I'm not sure, but that's the trend at the moment.